Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and I'm Zoe. I love elegant classics design and this is one such design. It's really pretty and girly. The dress is suitable for many occasions, it looks great and it is not an easy project, so you will need experience to complete it. However, with this video tutorial you can completely done the project, and sewing pattern link is in the description below, and let's get started. So after reading the instruction manual and choosing your size, you need to print the pattern at 100% scale and then cut it. This is my sizing pattern. There will be 11 pieces and I use chiffon fabric for this design. First, fold the fabric with the right side out. Place the pattern pieces on the right side of the fabric, and you need to use pin to secure the pattern and fabric together. Add seam allowance and cut the fabric. Next, mark the dot on the back body. If sewing to wear, you need to use lining fabric of the same color as the main fabric. But in this video tutorial, I will use dark lining fabric because I will make it easier for you to see. So you need to place the wrong side of the main fabric on the lining and sew by hand around the raw edges. Then cut off the excess lining, and you need to do this with the front, the side front, the back, and the skirt pieces, not the sleeves and the ruffle, and zigzag around the raw edges of the pieces. Next is sewing dots on the back bodies. Use a scissor to click 0.7 cm on the princess seams of the front. With the right side, you need to sew the front and the side front pieces together as the princess seam. Let's go. Then you need to fold the seam allowance to the front and top stitching. Then iron it. Fold and iron the center front to form the placket. With the right side together, sew the front and the back body's pieces together at the shoulder seams. Stock two front body panels of the placket. Use a tape to measure the distance between the two raw edges, with the formula around waist would be divided by 2 plus 2 cm of seam allowance. Sew the bottom part of the placket in the place. With the right side together, pin the sleeve cap ends to the top of the side seam. Pin towards the shoulder seam and flip the top. and then sew the sliver into the arm openings. With the right side together, mark centimeters up from the bottom of the sliver. Use seam C for this section and sew up the side seam with seam B. Then iron it. It is excellent if you have the seam roll.
Somebody longing for someone to hold me. It could be anybody, but you
mark the end of seam C. Then sew a straight line 0.5 cm from the original seam. Starting from the left, sew up the marker, then go back to sewing the right side of the original seam. This is the waistband. Next, with the right sides together, sew the front and the back skirt pieces together at the side seams. Next, sew the skirt, waistband and bodies together. With the right side together, sew the center back and add an invisible zipper. And then ironing. Use a hand needle to seal the back neck in the place. Next, mark the seam of the ruffle on the skirt. Measure the distance from the bottom line of the skirt to the dashed line, then add 1 cm and mark on the fabric. This is the ruffle of the dress. Sew the small edges together. On the other raw edges, you gather stitch, then gather it. Pin the ruffle to the chalk line. Then sew them together. Do the same with the bottom skirt. Next step is to sew the collar. Ironing interfacing on the wrong side of the fabric. Draw pattern pieces on the fabric. and stitch around the outer edges of the collars. Trim 3 mm from stitching line to reduce thickness. Then turn right side down and iron.
You think you know me? Say I'm as cold-hearted as they come. You think I'm slowly.
On the collar stand pieces, you need to add 1 more centimeter seam allowance at the lower edge and then cut off the excess. Next, press the lower edges of the inner collar and stand upward to secure seam allowance. Right sides together with the fabric. Pin and cut the upper edges line. Place the collar between the collar stands and stitch together. Trim 3 mm from the stitching line to reduce the thickness. And turn to the face and then iron. From the bottom edge of the collar, stand go down 1 cm is the seam allowance and cut off the excess fabric. Then you need to draw the lower edges of the inner collars. Stand on the outer collar stand. Pin the lower edges of the outer collar stand to the right side of the neckline.
I can never get close to your sorrow, and I know you've been
And stitching.
Someday you'll be a spark for a fire, and today I saw some darkness expire. And however we will fall, I will hold you till you say so. Leave all your clothes on.
Trim 5 mm from the stitching line to reduce the thickness.
It's not hard to find out. I just wanna be with you. So leave all your clothes on. Let life be.
Turn to face. Tuck seam allowance into collar stand and top stitch around collar stand 1 mm from edges. press the straight edges of the curved sleeve up 1 cm toward the wrong side.
I can never get close to your sorrow, and I know you've been here on this road.
Fold the curved sleeve in half with wrong side out, then sew on both sides. Turn right side out and press.
Leave all your clothes on. This will be a long run. It's not hard to find out. I just wanna be with you. So leave all your clothes on. Let life be your rhythm. Is this what you're dreaming of? Is this how it feels falling in love?
Pin the bottom edges of the sleeve between the curve, then top stitch 1 mm from the edges. Next is to add the buttons. In this dress, because I used dark lining, so I didn't cover the buttons. And in the dress with light lining, I will use a little trick to make the dress look more delicate. And this is a plastic snap. I would use 1 piece of fabric to cover the outside of the button. And cut off the excess fabric. You need to cut close to the button, but not through the thread. Then install plastic snap with pliers. And I'm done. This is a dress I really like. You see, it's really pretty and girly. And I really love this design. I hope you can enjoy with the tutorial too. And if you want to sew this dress, go to the website zoepatterns.com. And there is a wide selection of sewing patterns for you. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more DIY things. So thank you for commenting me. I hope you can learn interesting things from this video. And see you in the next video. Bye!